Hello everyone, it's Alan again of Maru Files. Last month we saw our favorite anime heroes duke it out, and I also got pretty busy constantly refining my Aragami slaying techniques. And before we knew it, March is already here. The upcoming month is no less packed with game releases, and some of these titles are ones I'm interested in trying out, and a few others are ones I've been excited for many months now. So what games do I want to play this month? Let's go over them. I'm generally a fan of the fighting game genre, so seeing Dead or Alive 6 come into the scene is generally great news for me. I do have some interest in the series, though it tends to bounce around with other games, especially since I'm really more of a Guilty Gear fan, but there were definitely times Dead or Alive has caught my attention for at least a little while, and for more than reasons that may be typically guessed. While there may be some controversy about its aesthetic, I wasn't really one to be bothered by it, especially when you get to notice how refined they've made their combat and mechanics. It's made an identity for itself and it's not afraid to be what it is, and I applaud that. Seeing their new gimmicks and how it all pulls together is something I'd like to see play out. Square Enix has allowed this new experiment to go on with some names I'm personally excited for. To revisit the world of Wanzers and the gritty warzone they bring with them has definitely gotten my interest. It got me even more excited when I found out that they've created an entirely new game based on its universe. I've mentioned before that this looks like it's going to be an attempt of something like Detroit Become Human, but with a lot more gameplay elements from scene to scene. Considering Square Enix's capability to make really flashy graphics and how they've been known to write grand narratives around their games, I believe that they may take this genre within games a notable step forward. I'm honestly curious how far they can take it, and considering the people behind it, I do have high hopes for this one. I am genuinely happy to see the real DMC5 released. Now, this isn't to throw shade at Ninja Theory's own take on Devil May Cry. I personally thought that it was good in its own right, but really not something to be associated with the general identity of the series. Considering how much it has decided to adapt from its previous games, it's almost certain that the combat will be satisfying and wild. This is a perfect way to change gears for someone like me who's been playing Souls-like games one after the other. The first one, back then, showed us a few issues it had, but it's hard not to see the promise of this looter-shooter series. Division 2 has also featured new environments that's a great break from the urban winter that never seemed to end. What they appear to give the most focus is building on a better multiplayer experience, and that'll probably help me a lot more since I was quickly disillusioned with the experience of Destiny 2. This more cover-based tactical combat may make me feel more involved rather than throwing skill combos to quickly take out all sorts of spawning enemies, which I was generally not very impressed with back then. Building on the sensibilities of more modern shooters, this looks like an easier learning curve than other ones I've tried, so I'd like to see how well I do in this one. Bandai Namco has slowly been trying to develop the recipe for open world games. It's been pretty evident with their Sword Art series. Now with One Piece there seems to be a new direction. Checking the trailers tells me they're drawing a lot of ideas from Assassin's Creed, which strikes me as a little strange considering they're all pirates, not ninjas. Still, I'm generally curious as how they plan to make One Piece an interesting world, considering they've departed from their hub world format, which I've been getting weary of as of late. One thing I'd really like to see them do better would be boss battles, which have been a general weakness for open world kind of games. But I think the anime genre has material that can possibly solve that problem, and watching Luffy basically be Spider-Man seems pretty fun. So again, Bloodborne brought me to H.P. Lovecraft, and man, did I love that game. I heard that Sinking City was originally going to be basically an adaptation of Lovecraft's stories, but unfortunately didn't pan out well, so they instead have gone with a story and world generally inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's work, which I think could be a blessing in disguise, because that means the developer has more creative freedom to do what they like with the game. FromSoft pulled off Bloodborne from that, and my fascination with cosmic horror is still pretty eager to see more. I was really hoping for a Bloodborne 2 announcement, but that didn't happen. Miyazaki only seems to be interested in making better and better games, and will simply make an entirely new one if he wants to change things up. While I'm quite sad that Bloodborne 2 is not and will probably never be a thing, Sekiro is a really exciting title for me. A new focus on movement with a grappling hook makes new ways of approaching the enemies possible. It might be even more fun than the way Just Cause does it on my book, but that doesn't mean it wasn't fun in the first place. FromSoft seems to have placed a lot of faith behind making new and fresh single-player games, and considering their track record for this genre, I'll definitely not skip this one out. Some old habits die hard, and I've grown up with a lot of JRPGs that have pretty hectic dungeon crawl. Princess Guide seems to mix this up by allowing you to command a small squad of minions while braving mazes and paths searching for battles to fight. At the moment, I'm really confused as to how this game actually works, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Considering how it seems to have more of an arcade-like feel for combat, it seems to be the perfect quick fix if you're waiting in line or just going through the commute. And that's it for my most anticipated for March. Of course, there's more out there, and here's a list of more or less honorable mentions. Are there any titles out there that you think we should check out? Go ahead and tell us why you think it's worth it, and if we think it's good, we might even cover it. That's saying a lot, noting I barely keep up with my game reviews, haha. But, there's always 5 minutes for one more game. So, if you like this video, do drop us a like, because that helps us a lot. If you'd like to check out our other content, you can see more videos off our YouTube channel over here, and all of our articles on our site, ravereviewfiles.com. You can also catch us on the usual social media as shown here, where we post some light event coverage and usually some memes. You can also come talk to us if you like. We do love to hear from you. So, that's it for now. Until next time, stay classy.